have a baby girl. Is that too much for you?
Korean billionaire CEO dinner date was perfect until she whispered, "I have a baby girl." He froze. I never thought a single dinner could reroute the trajectory of my entire life. Isn't it strange how the universe works? One moment, I'm calculating billion-dollar mergers and hostile takeovers. The next, I'm sitting in a candlelit restaurant, my fork frozen midair, because the woman across from me just said 7 words that dismantled every emotional defense I'd built over the last decade. I have a baby girl. My name is Daniel Kong. I run one of the most powerful private investment firms in South Korea. And for a man who prides himself on maintaining perfect composure during market crashes, courtroom battles, and billion-dollar negotiations, I completely lost control of my face that night. My throat closed. My palms went cold. My vision blurred. I felt the room tilt slightly, like gravity itself had shifted direction. But not for the reasons you might think. Because I wasn't afraid of her. I wasn't judging her. I wasn't calculating whether she was worth the complication. I was terrified. Because in that exact moment, I realized something far more dangerous. I already cared. And caring had ruined me once before. She watched my reaction carefully. Her smile faded. Her shoulders tightened. Her eyes dropped for half a second before she forced them back up to mine. And suddenly, I saw it. That quiet resignation. That familiar look people get when they're preparing themselves for rejection before it even happens. I opened my mouth to speak. Nothing came out. Not because I didn't have words. Because every word I had felt like it might break something. In her. In me. Or in whatever fragile thing was forming between us across that table. I should have said something reassuring. Anything. Instead, I sat there in silence long enough for the space between us to turn heavy. Uncomfortable. Dangerous. And that's when she did something that nearly shattered me. She smiled. Not the real one. The polite one. The one people use when they're trying to protect themselves. And she said softly, "It's okay if that's too much." That sentence hit harder than the confession itself. Because suddenly, this wasn't about a baby. It was about rejection. About assumptions. About fear. And about whether I was about to become exactly the kind of man I hated most. If you've ever judged someone too quickly, if you've ever walked away from something beautiful because it scared you, if you've ever watched your past sabotage your future, you'll want to stay for this story. Before we continue, take a second to like this video and subscribe. This channel shares powerful love stories that challenge assumptions, break stereotypes, and remind us how unexpected connection can change everything. Because what happened next even surprised me. People think billionaires live chaotic lives. Jet lag, late nights, endless parties, constant noise. But the truth is, my life was quiet, silent, sterile, every minute scheduled, every risk calculated, every emotion filtered. Control wasn't just a preference. It was survival. My office overlooked the Han River. Floor-to-ceiling glass, minimalist furniture, cold steel desk. Everything in my world was clean, sharp, efficient. My calendar didn't have room for surprises. I didn't do spontaneity. I didn't do emotional unpredictability. And I definitely didn't do complications. Especially not in relationships. I dated women who matched my lifestyle. Executives, investors, socialites, smart, beautiful, ambitious. But none of them knew me. Not really. They knew my resume, my net worth, my influence. But not my fears. Not my scars. Not the part of me that still woke up at night sometimes with my chest tight and my throat dry, remembering a hospital hallway that smelled like antiseptic and grief. But we'll get to that. At the time, I told myself I was fulfilled. I told myself I didn't need emotional chaos. I told myself relationships were distractions. But the truth was, I didn't trust myself with love. Because the last time I loved someone without reservation, it destroyed my family. And I promised myself I would never lose control like that again. So I built a life where control was everything. Where no one had enough access to hurt me. Where emotions stayed behind locked doors. Where vulnerability was weakness. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Until Naomi Carter walked into my life without knowing who I was, what I owned, or what I feared. And somehow saw me anyway. I met Naomi at a charity fundraiser I didn't want to attend. One of those galas where people wear empathy like jewelry, polished, expensive, and mostly decorative. I was standing near the bar, pretending to listen to a hedge fund manager talk about sustainability investments he clearly didn't understand, when I heard laughter behind me. Not loud, not performative, just genuine. The kind that feels warm instead of sharp. I turned, and there she was. Braided hair pulled into a loose bun. Soft red dress. Minimal makeup. Eyes bright. She wasn't talking. She was listening. Her friend was venting about something. Work, maybe, or life. And Naomi leaned in slightly, eyebrows drawn together, fully present. Not scrolling her phone. Not scanning the room. Not waiting for her turn to speak. Just listening. Something about that caught me off guard. Most people listen to reply. She listened to understand. Our eyes met. She smiled. Not flirtatious. Not cautious. Just kind. And for reasons I couldn't explain, my chest tightened slightly. I nodded. She nodded back. Then turned back to her friend. And somehow that was enough. I didn't approach her. Didn't ask for her name. Didn't pull the CEO card. Didn't initiate anything. But later, when I was waiting near the silent auction table, she ended up beside me anyway. "Do you actually want that painting?" she asked casually, pointing to a large abstract piece. I glanced at it. "I have no idea what it's supposed to be." She laughed. "Same. But I like the colors." "What colors?" "Exactly." I smiled despite myself. "What do you do?" she asked. I hesitated. I didn't say CEO. Didn't say billionaire. Didn't say investor. I work in finance. Her eyes didn't change. Not impressed. Not disinterested. Just curious. "That sounds exhausting." "It is." She tilted her head. "Why do it?" The question caught me off guard. People never ask that. They ask how much. How big. How successful. Never why. "I'm good at it," I said. That wasn't the question. I studied her face. She wasn't challenging me. She wasn't mocking me. She was genuinely curious. "I like solving problems," I said slowly. "Even emotional ones." That one landed. I blinked. "Especially emotional ones," she added, smiling softly. I didn't know how to respond to that. Not because I disagreed. Because no one had ever framed me that way before. We talked for 20 minutes. About nothing important. And everything important. Books. Music. Travel. Childhood dreams. She didn't ask about money. Didn't ask about status. Didn't ask about connections. She asked about me. And for reasons I couldn't explain, I answered. Honestly, I found myself laughing more than I had in months. Smiling without effort. Relaxing without intention. And when the night ended, she gave me her number. Without ceremony. Without pressure. "Text me if you want," she said. "Or don't. Either way." And walked away. I stood there longer than I should have. Staring at my phone. Confused by how much I already didn't want to lose something that hadn't even started yet. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself it was just chemistry. I told myself it would pass. But I texted her anyway. Our first official date was dinner. Not extravagant. Not trendy. Not dramatic. Just comfortable. A quiet restaurant overlooking the river. Low lighting. Soft music. The kind of place where conversation carries more weight than presentation. Naomi arrived 5 minutes late. Not apologetic. Not flustered. Just calm. "Traffic," she said, shrugging as she slid into the seat across from me. "You okay?" "Yeah. I like being late to things that matter." I raised an eyebrow. "That sounds backward." She smiled. "It gives me a moment to decide if I actually want to be there." And I stayed. I felt something warm flicker in my chest. The waiter poured water. Menus opened. Small talk turned into real talk faster than I expected. We talked about childhoods. Hers was loud, crowded, chaotic. Mine was quiet, strict, disciplined. We talked about relationships. Her past ones. My avoidance of them. She laughed when I admitted I'd never had anything serious. "Never." "Not really." "Why?" "I don't trust people easily." "Do you trust yourself?" That one hit. "I don't know," I said honestly. She nodded. "I get that." The conversation felt easy. Too easy. Like something dangerous disguised as comfort. We talked about goals, dreams, fears. And at some point, I realized something that unsettled me. I wasn't thinking. Not calculating. Not planning. Not managing. I was just present. The food arrived. Pasta. Salmon. Vegetables. Wine. We clinked glasses. "To new connections," she said. "To unexpected ones," I replied. She smiled. The kind of smile that lingers longer than it should. The kind that makes your chest feel warmer than the wine. And for a moment, I thought, maybe this is what normal feels like. Maybe this is what I've been missing. And then, halfway through her meal, she hesitated. Not dramatically, just enough that I noticed. Her fork paused. Her eyes dropped briefly to the table, then lifted back to mine. "There's something I should tell you," she said softly. Her tone wasn't nervous. It wasn't dramatic. It was gentle. "I have a baby girl." I froze. Not metaphorically. Physically. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. My chest tightened. My ears rang slightly. And suddenly, the entire restaurant felt too loud and too quiet at the same time. I started. Nothing came out. Her smile faltered. "Just a little." "I know that's a lot," she added quickly. "I didn't want to say it earlier because I didn't want to scare you off before you got to know me." That word. Scare. Something about it hit wrong. Because fear wasn't what I felt. Shock, yes. Surprise, yes. But fear? No. What I felt was loss. Not of her. Of the version of myself that didn't have to care this much. Because suddenly, this wasn't just a woman. It was a woman and a child. And children change everything. They change timelines. They change priorities. They change emotional stakes. And worst of all, they change how much you can lose. My silence stretched. Not intentionally. Not strategically. But long enough to feel like rejection. Naomi's shoulders tightened. Her eyes dropped. Her fingers fidgeted with her napkin. "I should have said that sooner," she murmured. "I'm sorry if I—" "No," I said quickly. "No, it's not that." But the words sounded thin. Unconvincing. Because I didn't know what it was yet. I just knew my heart was racing and my mind was spinning and my chest felt like it was shrinking. She forced a smile. "It's okay. You don't owe me anything." That sentence. That hurt. Not because she was wrong, but because I didn't want her to feel like she needed to say it. I wanted to explain. I wanted to reassure. I wanted to tell her that her confession didn't make me see her differently. But the truth was, it did. Not worse. Deeper. More real. More vulnerable. And that terrified me. She picked up her fork again. A little too carefully. A little too composed. The mood shifted. Not ruined. Just fragile. And I realized something painful. She thought I was about to leave. But I wasn't frozen because I didn't want her. I was frozen because suddenly, I wanted something I'd spent years convincing myself I didn't. And I had no idea how to handle that. If this story is hitting you, take a second to like this video. It helps more people find these stories, and it tells me you want more like this. Because what happened next changed everything. The silence between us stretched longer than it should have. Not because either of us wanted it to, because neither of us knew how to move first. Naomi stirred her food slowly. Didn't eat. Didn't look up. Just waited. I watched her. And suddenly, I wasn't looking at a woman on a date anymore. I was looking at someone bracing herself for rejection. Someone preparing for disappointment. Someone who'd clearly been here before. "I should go," she said softly. My chest tightened. "No," I said too quickly. "Please. Don't." She looked up. Surprised. Then guarded. Why? The question wasn't defensive. It was tired. Like she'd already accepted the answer. I opened my mouth. Closed it. I didn't know how to explain what was happening inside me. Because the truth sounded ridiculous even to myself. I wasn't afraid of her child. I wasn't judging her life. I wasn't reconsidering the date. I was panicking. Because her words had triggered something I'd spent years avoiding. Family. Loss. Attachment. Responsibility. And fear. So much fear. "I'm not upset," I said finally. "I just wasn't expecting that." She nodded. "I get that." But her tone said something else. It said, "I've heard that before." "I like you," I said quietly. "This isn't about not liking you." "Then what is it about?" I hesitated. Because the truth was, I didn't know yet. I started. "I think I just need a minute." Her lips pressed together. She studied my face carefully. Not angry. Not emotional. Just cautious. "I don't want to waste your time," she said. "Or mine." "That's not what this is," I said. "I promise." But promises without explanations feel hollow. She sighed. "Look, Daniel, I'm not offended. I've done this before." And usually, when I say that sentence, the date ends shortly after. That sentence hurt more than I expected. How often? Enough. Her voice wasn't bitter. It was resigned. Like someone who'd already grieved something they hadn't lost yet. "I didn't want to hide it," she added. "But I also didn't want it to be the first thing people saw when they looked at me." "I don't see you differently," I said. She studied me. "Then why do you look like you just saw a ghost?" "Because I kind of did." Because for half a second, I saw a hospital hallway. I saw white walls. I smelled antiseptic. I heard my mother crying quietly in a corner chair. I felt my sister's cold hand in mine. But I didn't say that. Instead, I said, because I wasn't prepared for how much that sentence would matter. Her brow furrowed. Matter how? I took a breath. I've never been good with emotional surprises. She smiled faintly. Most people aren't. This isn't most people, I said. Something in my tone made her pause. What do you mean? I hesitated. I don't get thrown off easily. Ever. And this did. Her eyes softened slightly. That was new. That was hope. You're not angry? She asked. No. You're not reconsidering? No. Then what are you doing? Trying to figure out why my heart is racing. She blinked. Once. Twice. And then she laughed. Not loudly. Just softly. That's not usually the reaction I get. Well, I said, I'm not usually in this situation. She tilted her head. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I honestly don't know yet. That made her smile. A real one. Not guarded. Not polite. Just human. The tension loosened slightly. Not gone. But breathing. She picked up her fork again. So, she said, my daughter's name is Maya. The name landed heavier than I expected. Not because it was significant. Because it was real. Up until now, this had been abstract. A baby girl. But now it had a name. An identity. A presence. Maya, I repeated. She nodded. She's 4. 4. Not a baby. A child. Someone who could talk. Laugh. Ask questions. Someone who could get attached. Someone who could get hurt. And suddenly, the stakes felt higher. Not for me. For her. For her daughter. Because if I entered this situation, I couldn't be careless. I couldn't be half present. I couldn't be temporary. Children deserve permanence. And I wasn't sure I could offer that. That thought scared me more than anything else. What is she like? I asked. Naomi smiled. Dinosaurs. Pancakes. Drawing on walls. All walls. Only the important ones. I laughed despite myself. She sounds energetic. That's one word for it. We talked about Maya for 10 minutes. Not awkwardly. Not tensely. Just normally. And with every story Naomi told, I saw something shift in her. Her shoulders relaxed. Her eyes brightened. Her voice softened. She loved her daughter deeply. Not in a performative way. In a lived-in way. The kind that changes how you move through the world. And somehow, instead of pushing me away, that pulled me closer. But I didn't understand why yet. Not consciously. I just knew. Something about her life made her real in a way I wasn't used to. Not polished. Not curated. Not controlled. Just real. And real terrified me. Because real can hurt you. And real can leave. And real can die. But I didn't say any of that. Instead, I said, she sounds incredible. Naomi smiled. She is. The rest of the dinner passed easier than the beginning. Not perfect, but honest. We talked about work, life, dreams. She asked about my childhood. I kept it surface level. Parents divorced. Strict father. High expectations. She didn't push. But she noticed. I could tell. At the end of the night, we stood outside the restaurant under warm streetlights. The river shimmered behind her. She hugged her coat tighter. So, she said, I guess this is the part where we decide whether this was a one-time thing or not. I said quickly. She looked up. Surprised. You want to see me again? Yes. Not calculated. Not hesitant. Immediate. Her lips parted slightly. Really? Yes. Her eyes searched mine. Even knowing I have a kid. Especially knowing that. That answer surprised both of us. Her smile returned. Slower this time. More cautious. But real. Okay, she said softly. Then I'd like that. I watched her walk away. And realized something unsettling. I hadn't thought about work in over 2 hours. That never happened. But more than that, I hadn't felt lonely once. And that scared me more than anything else. Because loneliness is safe. Attachment is dangerous. And I was already attached. Our second date wasn't dinner. It was coffee. Middle of the afternoon. No pressure. No candles. No wine. Just sunlight, espresso, and conversation. I told myself that made it safer. Lower stakes. But somehow, it felt more intimate. She wore jeans and a sweater. No makeup. Hair loose. Effortless. Real. She arrived with her laptop under her arm and a tired smile on her face. Long morning, she said. Good or bad? Both. She ordered black coffee. No sugar. No cream. You don't mess around, I said. I don't trust drinks that pretend to be dessert. I laughed. Something about her humor was effortless. Not performative. Not rehearsed. Just honest. We talked for hours. About books, music, movies, childhood memories. She told me about growing up in Atlanta. Big family. Loud dinners. Too many cousins. I told her about Busan. Quiet house. Rigid rules. Pressure to succeed. She listened. Really listened. Not interrupting. Not steering. Just present. That was new for me. Most people listen to respond. She listened to understand. And I found myself saying things I usually didn't. About stress. About fear. About exhaustion. Not dramatically. Just truthfully. She didn't pity me. Didn't fix me. Didn't analyze me. She just nodded and said, "That sounds heavy." It was. But hearing it acknowledged out loud felt lighter. We started seeing each other regularly. Not daily. Not obsessively. But consistently. Coffee. Lunch. Walks by the river. Late-night conversations. Long texts. Voice notes. Easy laughter. Slow trust. And somehow, without planning it, without naming it, without labeling it, she became the safest person in my life. Which terrified me. Because safety with people doesn't last. Not forever. And I was waiting for the moment it would disappear. But it didn't. Instead, something else happened. I started thinking about her daughter. Not abstractly. Not theoretically. But emotionally. When Naomi mentioned Maya, I didn't freeze anymore. I smiled. I asked questions. I remembered details. Her favorite color. Her favorite cartoon. Her fear of the dark. And one night, Naomi said something casually that shifted everything. "Maya keeps asking when she gets to meet you." My chest tightened. She knows about me? She knows I'm seeing someone, Naomi said. And she's curious. Curious. Not suspicious. Not threatened. Just curious. Children are like that. They haven't learned fear yet. But I had. And suddenly, the idea of meeting her daughter felt heavier than any board meeting I'd ever walked into. "Do you want to?" Naomi asked gently. The question wasn't loaded. Not pressured. Not manipulative. Just honest. And the truth was, yes. But also, no. Yes, because I wanted to know that part of her life. Yes, because I wanted to understand her world fully. Yes, because I was already attached to something I hadn't even met yet. No, because I was terrified. Terrified of getting close. Terrified of hurting someone innocent. Terrified of failing someone who deserved stability. Terrified of repeating the worst moment of my life. But I didn't tell her that. I just said, "I'd like to." Her smile was immediate. Warm. Relieved. "Okay," she said. "Maybe this weekend." My stomach flipped. Okay. That weekend changed everything. Naomi invited me over on Saturday afternoon. Not for dinner. Not for anything dramatic. Just to hang out. She made it casual. "No pressure," she said. "She just wants to meet the person who keeps making me smile at my phone." That sentence alone almost unraveled me. Her apartment was modest. Clean. Warm. Lived in. Crayons on the coffee table. Cartoons paused on the TV. Tiny sneakers by the door. The smell of something sweet in the air. Vanilla. Cinnamon. Home. Naomi opened the door with a smile. "You ready?" "No," I said honestly. She laughed. "That's fair." She stepped aside. "Maya," she called. "Someone's here to meet you." Footsteps. Fast. Light. Then, a little girl appeared in the hallway. Big eyes. Curly hair pulled into two puffs. Pink dress. Holding a stuffed dinosaur. She stared at me. I froze. Again. Not because I was scared of her. Because I was scared of how much her existence mattered. "This is Daniel," Naomi said gently. "The guy I've been telling you about." Maya tilted her head. "You're tall." I blinked. "That's accurate." She studied me carefully. Then said, "Do you like dinosaurs?" "Yes," I said quickly. "Very much. Even T-Rex. Especially T-Rex." Her eyes lit up. "Good," she said. "Because he's the strongest." She held up her stuffed dinosaur proudly. I smiled. Very true. Naomi watched us with something like relief. And something like hope. Maya walked over. Looked up at me. "You're not scary." That sentence. That wrecked me. "Thank you," I said softly. "I try." She giggled. Naomi invited me inside. We sat on the floor. Played with toys. Built Lego towers. Watched cartoons. Maya climbed onto my lap without hesitation. Like I'd always been there. Like I belonged. And something about that broke something open inside me. Not painfully. Quietly. Like a crack forming in armor I'd worn too long. She showed me her drawings. her favorite book, her favorite song. She asked if I could read to her. I did. She corrected my pronunciation, laughed at my mistakes, and for the first time in years, I forgot who I was supposed to be. CEO, investor, strategist. Instead, I was just Daniel, a guy sitting on a carpeted floor reading about a dinosaur who was afraid of thunderstorms. At one point, Maya leaned her head against my chest, completely relaxed, completely trusting, and I felt something shift in me, something terrifying, something beautiful, something permanent. Naomi noticed. I saw it in her eyes, the way she watched me with her daughter, the way her shoulders loosened, the way her smile softened. You're good with her, she said quietly later when Maya was in the other room. I'm not doing anything, I said. You are, she replied. You're present. I didn't know how to respond to that, because presence was something I'd never been taught. I'd been taught success, control, discipline, but not presence. And yet, with her daughter, it came naturally, which made no sense, until I realized. I wasn't trying. I wasn't performing. I wasn't managing. I was just there. Later that night, after Maya fell asleep, Naomi and I sat on the couch quietly. No TV, no music, just space. She likes you, Naomi said softly. I like her. She smiled. I can tell. I hesitated, then said, I'm scared. Her eyes shifted to mine. Of what? Of caring this much. She didn't react, didn't panic, didn't pull away. She just nodded. That makes sense. Does it? Yes, she said. Caring is terrifying. I looked at her. She looked back. And yet, she continued, it's still worth it. That sentence sat heavy in my chest, because I didn't know if I believed it. Not yet, but I wanted to. And that was new. 3 weeks later, everything shattered. Not slowly, not gradually, suddenly, violently, in a way that left no room for control. I was in a board meeting when my phone vibrated. Once, twice, 3 times. Naomi. I ignored it. 4th time, 5th time. I excused myself, stepped into the hallway. Naomi. I answered. Her voice was shaking. Daniel, I need you. What's wrong? It's Maya. She collapsed at school. We're at the hospital. My chest went cold. I'm on my way. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Didn't grab my jacket. Didn't finish the meeting. I just left. Traffic felt unbearable. Every red light felt personal. Every delay felt cruel. My hands shook on the steering wheel. My chest tightened. And suddenly, I wasn't 34. I wasn't a CEO. I wasn't in control. I was 17 again, standing in a hospital hallway, smelling antiseptic, listening to my mother cry, watching doctors move too quickly, hearing words I didn't understand, but knowing they were bad. My heart pounded. My throat closed. My palms went numb. I pulled into the hospital parking lot and ran. Didn't care who saw. Didn't care what I looked like. Didn't care about anything except getting to them. Naomi was in the waiting room, pacing, eyes red, hands shaking. She looked up when she saw me and broke. She walked into my arms and cried into my chest like she'd been holding it in for hours. I don't know what's happening, she said. She just collapsed. They won't tell me anything yet. It's okay, I said, though I had no idea if it was. I'm here. I meant that more than anything I'd ever said in my life. We waited. Minutes felt like hours. Every sound felt too loud. Every door opening felt like disaster. Naomi gripped my hand so tightly I thought she might break it. I didn't pull away, didn't shift, didn't loosen my grip. I just stayed. When the doctor finally came out, my heart nearly stopped. Maya Carter? Naomi stood immediately. Yes. She's stable, he said. But we're running tests. She had a seizure. Naomi's knees buckled. I caught her. Is she okay? She whispered. She's conscious, he said. But we want to monitor her overnight. Can I see her? Yes. We walked down the hallway together. My heart pounded harder with every step. The door opened. Maya lay in a hospital bed. Tiny. Still. Too still. She looked so small under the white sheets. Machines beeped softly beside her. I froze in the doorway. Naomi rushed to her side. Mama, Maya whispered. I'm here, baby. Naomi said, tears spilling down her face. I'm right here. Maya turned her head and saw me. Hi, Daniel, she said weakly. Hey, I said softly, walking closer. You scared us. Sorry. Her voice was small, fragile. My chest hurt. Don't apologize, I said. Just get better. She nodded, then reached for my hand. Without hesitation, without fear. Without doubt. And suddenly, everything inside me broke. Not violently. Quietly. Like something heavy being set down. I stayed at the hospital all night. Didn't leave. Didn't sleep. Didn't check my phone. Didn't answer emails. Didn't care. Naomi fell asleep in the chair beside Maya's bed around 3 a.m. I stayed awake, watching the machines, listening to her breathing, holding Maya's hand. And for the first time in years, I wasn't afraid of losing control. I was afraid of losing her. And that felt different. The next morning, the doctor explained. Maya had epilepsy. It was manageable, treatable, but permanent. Naomi nodded, held herself together, thanked him. But I saw it. The fear, the exhaustion, the weight. Later, when Maya fell asleep again, Naomi leaned against the wall. I don't know how to do this, she whispered. I don't know how to be strong enough. I stepped closer. You already are. She shook her head. You don't understand. It's just me. It's always just been me. Something about that sentence hit me in the chest. Because suddenly, it didn't have to be. You're not alone, I said quietly. She looked up. Her eyes searched mine. Daniel. I mean it, I said. You're not alone. Her breath caught. You don't have to say that, she whispered. You didn't sign up for this. I know, I said. But I'm here anyway. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't choosing this because I felt obligated. I was choosing it because I couldn't imagine not being here. That was love, not romance, not chemistry, not attraction, commitment. And it scared me more than anything else ever had. Because love is the one thing you can't control. And I was finally letting go. The world found out faster than I expected. Not about Maya's condition. About us. Someone took a photo of Naomi and me leaving the hospital together. Posted it online. Speculated. Identified me. Within 24 hours, headlines followed. Korean billionaire CEO linked to single mother. Who is Daniel Kang's mystery woman? CEO steps out with child. Is he starting a family? I didn't care. Not at first. But Naomi did. Not because of reputation. Because of safety. Because of Maya. Because of privacy. I don't want her life in headlines, she said quietly. I'll make it stop, I said. I know, she replied. But I shouldn't have to. She was right. Then came my mother. She called unexpectedly. Daniel, she said sharply. We need to talk. I flew to Seoul that night. She was waiting in her living room. Poised. Elegant. Controlled. As always. Who is this woman? She asked. Her name is Naomi. She has a child. Yes. She is not Korean. No. She is not from our world. No. She will complicate your life. Yes. She stared at me, then said, You're throwing everything away. That sentence hurt more than I expected. I'm not throwing anything away, I said. I'm choosing something. Love is not enough, she said. You know that? No, I said quietly. I know fear isn't. Her jaw tightened. You don't understand the consequences. I do, I said. I just don't care. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. This is emotional, she said. You're not thinking clearly. I am, I said. For the first time in my life. She stood. This relationship will end, she said. And when it does, you'll regret everything you risked. I won't, I said. Because you're blinded. No, I said. Because I finally see. She shook her head. Children complicate everything. Children reveal everything. I replied. Including who we really are. She said nothing. But I could tell. She didn't approve. Not of Naomi. Not of Maya. Not of me. And suddenly, the pressure wasn't just internal. It was external. Cultural. Social. Familial. And worst of all, it was starting to affect Naomi. I don't want to be the reason you lose your family, she said one night quietly. You're not, I said. They're making that choice. But I don't want to be the reason, she repeated. You're not a burden, I said firmly. She looked at me. I've been a burden before. That sentence broke something in me. You're not, I said again. You never were. But doubt had already started creeping into her eyes. And I knew. We were heading toward something dangerous. Not a breakup. Not a fight. A choice. Naomi didn't say it dramatically. Didn't cry. Didn't accuse. She just said it quietly one night while Maya slept in the next room. I can't be the reason you lose everything. My chest tightened. You're not. But you will, she said softly. Your mother. Your reputation. Your future. I don't care. I do, she replied. And I won't raise my daughter watching someone give up their life for us. You're not ruining my life, I said. You're making it. She shook her head. You don't understand what it's like to live your life being someone else's complication. I stared at her. I do, I said quietly. She blinked. I've lived my entire life trying not to be my father's disappointment, trying not to be my mother's regret, trying not to be anyone's burden. Her breath caught. I don't want Maya to grow up feeling like she ruined someone's life just by existing. You didn't, I said. And she didn't. How do you know? She whispered. Because if I lose anything because of you, I said, it means I chose wrong things to begin with. She stared at me. Tears filled her eyes. Daniel, I love you, I said. The words surprised both of us. But they were true. I love you, I repeated. And I love your daughter. Her breath hitched. You can't promise that. I already did. She shook her head. You don't understand what you're saying. I do, I said. I've been afraid of love my entire life. And I'm done letting fear run things. She cried. Quietly. Fully. I don't want to hurt you, she whispered. You won't, I said. But you will if you leave. She looked at me. You're choosing this? Yes. Even if your mother never accepts us? Yes. Even if your world rejects us? Yes. Even if it gets harder? Yes. She stared at me, then whispered, no one has ever chosen me like that before. Get used to it, I said softly. She laughed through tears, then leaned into me. And in that moment, I finally understood. Love isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing someone anyway. My mother didn't soften immediately. She didn't apologize. She didn't embrace Naomi. She didn't change overnight. But one afternoon, she agreed to meet Maya. Just once. No expectations. No promises. Just once. Maya brought her dinosaur, showed her drawings, talked about school, asked if she liked pancakes. My mother watched, listened, smiled. Not much, but enough. And when Maya hugged her goodbye without hesitation, something shifted. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, like a wall lowering an inch. Over time, my mother softened. Not because of arguments, not because of logic, but because of innocence. Children dismantle prejudice faster than adults ever could. Naomi and I moved in together 6 months later. Not rushed, not impulsive, just right. Maya adjusted easily. She started calling me Daniel. Then one day, Dad. Not loudly, not intentionally, just slipped. My chest nearly exploded. Naomi froze. Looked at me. Looked at Maya. I didn't correct her. Didn't stop her. Didn't ask her to repeat it. I just smiled. And in that moment, I knew everything that had terrified me before. Loss, attachment, vulnerability, responsibility, love. It was all worth it. Because this was life. Not control, not success, not safety, connection, family, belonging. And sometimes, the thing that scares you most is the thing that saves you. Life didn't slow down after we moved in together. If anything, it accelerated. Not chaotically, but purposefully. Naomi was still in school. Not because she needed credentials. Not because she lacked ability. Because she wanted something deeper. Stability. Not just for herself. For Maya. She was finishing her business degree at Howard Ridge University, a respected private university in Virginia. Not famous. Not flashy. But strong. Structured. Respected in academic circles for entrepreneurship and leadership development. She had started school before Maya was born. Dropped out when life became too heavy. Returned when things finally stabilized. And now, she was close. So close. But not without cost. There were nights she studied at the kitchen table until her eyes blurred. Nights she fell asleep with textbooks open and highlighters still uncapped. Nights she stared at assignment deadlines while worrying about daycare pickup times and doctor appointments and bills and exhaustion. And through it all, she never complained. Not once. But I saw it. In the tightness of her shoulders. In the way her breath hitched when deadlines stacked. In the way she apologized for being tired. Which she never should have done. One night, I found her asleep at the dining table. Laptop open. Notebook half written. Maya curled beside her with a coloring book in her lap. Both breathing softly. Both exhausted. And suddenly, everything inside me shifted. Not dramatically. Quietly. Like something settling into place. I picked Maya up carefully and carried her to bed. Then draped a blanket over Naomi's shoulders. She stirred. Murmured my name. Go to sleep, I whispered. She smiled faintly. You stayed up. Of course. She blinked slowly. Sorry I'm boring lately. That sentence hit wrong. You're building your future, I said. That's not boring. She studied my face. You don't feel like I'm behind? No, I said immediately. I feel like you're ahead. She laughed quietly. Of what? Of everyone who quit. Her eyes softened. You really believe in me. More than you do, I said. And I meant it. She carried more strength than she realized. She just hadn't seen it yet. Graduation cap, the graduation build up. The closer graduation came, the more nervous she became. Not about failing, about deserving. I feel like an imposter, she admitted one night. You're graduating with honors, I said. How is that imposter syndrome? Because everyone else did this the traditional way, she said. No kids, no breaks, no interruptions. So I feel like I cheated. I stared at her. You raised a child while going to school, I said. That's not cheating. That's harder. She shrugged. I just don't want to disappoint anyone. You won't, I said. But even if you did, it wouldn't change anything. She looked at me. You'd still be proud? Yes. She swallowed. Even if I failed? Yes. Her eyes watered. I'm not used to that. And suddenly, that sentence told me everything. About her past. About her pressure. About her fear. About her resilience. You don't have to earn love, I said quietly. You already have it. She stared at me, then cried. Not dramatically, just silently, like something heavy finally loosened. Graduation cap, graduation day. Graduation day came faster than either of us expected. She wore a simple black cap and gown. Maya wore a tiny dress with matching bows. Naomi's hands shook while she adjusted her tassel. I'm nervous, she said. You've given birth, I said. This should be easy. She laughed. That was painful. So is growth. She rolled her eyes. You always have to make everything philosophical. Only when I'm nervous, too. She paused. You are? Yes. Why? Because today matters. She smiled softly. The ceremony was held at Howard Ridge University's outdoor quad. Brick buildings. Green lawns. Rows of folding chairs. Families everywhere. Parents crying. Students laughing. Friends cheering. Dreams crystallizing. And when Naomi walked across that stage, everything inside me stopped. She wasn't just graduating. She was finishing something life tried very hard to take from her. She was closing a chapter that started with struggle and ended with triumph. She was proving something to herself she'd spent years doubting. And I watched her walk. Back straight. Smile steady. Eyes bright. And suddenly, I felt proud in a way that had nothing to do with success. Nothing to do with status. Nothing to do with achievement. Just human pride. Personal pride. Love. Maya jumped up and down when Naomi's name was called. That's my mommy, she shouted. People laughed. Clapped harder. Naomi saw her. Pressed her hand to her heart. And nearly cried on stage. When she walked off, diploma in hand, she came straight to us. Knelt in front of Maya. I did it, she whispered. I knew you would, Maya said. Then Naomi stood. Looked at me. Her eyes searched mine. And I saw it. That quiet question. Are you proud of me? Not because she needed validation. Because she needed confirmation. Yes, I said softly. More than I can explain. Her breath hitched. She leaned into me. And for the first time, she let herself be held without apology. My mother was there. Naomi didn't know that. Not at first. She'd flown in quietly. Sat in the back. Watched silently. Observed. Not judging. Not approving. Just watching. When Naomi walked off the stage, my mother stood. Clapped. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But sincerely. And Naomi noticed. She froze slightly. Is that? Yes, I said. Her shoulders tensed. She came. Yes. For me. For you. Naomi swallowed. She didn't have to. She wanted to. That meant more than either of us said out loud. After the ceremony, my mother approached us. Not stiff. Not cold. Just reserved. Congratulations, she said to Naomi. Thank you. Naomi replied, clearly nervous. You did very well. Naomi blinked. You watched. Yes. You didn't have to. I wanted to. That pause held weight. Then my mother looked at Maya. Hello, she said gently. Maya smiled. Hi. You look beautiful today. Thank you, Maya said proudly. My mommy graduated. I know, my mother said softly. I saw. Then she turned back to Naomi. You should be proud of yourself. Naomi's eyes watered. Thank you. My mother hesitated, then said something none of us expected. You are very strong. That sentence nearly broke Naomi, because strength was something she'd been her whole life, but rarely acknowledged. My mother didn't hug her, didn't embrace her, didn't suddenly become warm. But she saw her, and that was enough. For now. 2 weeks after graduation, my mother called. Daniel, she said. We need to talk. I braced myself. About what? About Naomi. My chest tightened. What about her? You are living together. Yes. You are raising her child. Yes. You are emotionally invested. Yes. You are not married. That sentence landed differently. Not accusatory. Not judgmental. Just factual. And I asked, and that is not acceptable. I frowned. You said you wanted to talk, not issue ultimatums. This is not an ultimatum, she said. It is responsibility. I sighed. Responsibility to whom? To her, she said. To the child. To yourself. That wasn't what I expected. You think I'm irresponsible? I think, she said carefully, you are deeply involved in a family that deserves stability. They have stability, I said. We live together. That is not stability, she said. That is convenience. That's unfair. No, she said. It's honest. I went quiet. She continued. If you intend to stay with her, you should make it official. I blinked. Are you saying you want me to marry her? Yes. That single word hit harder than any argument we'd ever had. You disapproved of this relationship. I disapproved of uncertainty, she said. Not of her. That was new. When did that change? When I watched her graduate, she said. I froze. What? I saw how hard she worked, she continued. I saw how she carried herself. I saw how she looks at Maya. And I saw how you look at her. My throat tightened. And I realized something, she said quietly. This is not temporary. No, I said. It isn't. So stop treating it like it is, she replied. Marry her. That sentence didn't feel like pressure. It felt like permission, which I hadn't realized I'd been waiting for. You're serious? Yes. You approve? Yes. That word healed something old inside me. You want us to get married? Yes. And you want a wedding? Yes. What kind? A proper one. I laughed. She's American. I know. She's not Korean. I know. She's not traditional. I know. Then what do you mean by proper? I mean intentional, she said. Public. Official. Clear. No hiding. No ambiguity. No half-commitment. That sentence hit deep. Because ambiguity had been my shield. And she was right. Naomi deserved more. Maya deserved more. I deserve more. I'll talk to her, I said. No, she replied. I will. I blinked. What? I will invite her to lunch. Oh, she deserves respect. She does. And I will ask her myself. That stunned me. Are you sure? Yes. My mother didn't do casual lunches. She didn't do emotional vulnerability. She didn't do apologies. But apparently, she did growth. Naomi was terrified. I don't want to disappoint her, she whispered on the drive. You won't. You don't know that. I do. She barely tolerates me. That's not true. That's comforting, not accurate. I smiled. You'll be fine. She shook her head. I feel like I'm being interviewed. You kind of are. She glared. That's not helping. My mother's restaurant choice was deliberate, quiet, elegant, private, not flashy, not intimidating, just intentional. She stood when Naomi arrived, offered her seat, poured her water, not stiff, not warm, just respectful. They ordered. Small talk. Weather. Work. Maya. My mother listened. Really listened. Then, halfway through the meal, she put her fork down. Naomi, she said calmly. I invited you here because I need to speak to you directly. Naomi stiffened. Yes. You are living with my son. Yes. You are raising your daughter. Yes. You are building a life. Yes. You deserve security. Naomi blinked. You deserve clarity, my mother continued. Not uncertainty. Naomi glanced at me. I said nothing. My mother continued. My son is serious about you. Naomi swallowed. Yes. He loves you. Her breath caught. He told you. No, my mother said. I watched him. That sentence stunned her. He does not look at people lightly, she continued. He does not commit emotionally easily. And he does not stay where he does not intend permanence. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. I'm not asking you to trust him blindly, my mother said. I'm asking you to trust what I see. Naomi didn't speak. My mother leaned forward slightly. Which is why, she said, I believe you should marry. Silence. Total silence. Naomi stared. At her. At me. Back at her. She whispered. I don't. She looked at me. You didn't know? She asked. No, I said honestly. I thought, she shook her head. I thought this was coming from you. I didn't know it was coming at all, I said. My mother continued. I am not demanding, she said. I am advising. That feels like demanding, Naomi whispered. My mother smiled faintly. Fair. Naomi laughed nervously. I don't want to force anything, she said. And I don't want to pressure Daniel. My mother looked at her steadily. He is not pressured. Naomi turned to me. Are you? No. Then why haven't you asked me? That question hit like a thunderclap. Because I didn't have an answer. Not a good one. Not a real one. Not an honest one. The truth was, I'd been afraid. Not of commitment. Of failure. Of loss. Of repeating the past. Of loving someone deeply and watching it shatter. But Naomi deserved more than my fear. She deserved certainty, clarity, security. And suddenly, I realized something. Love isn't waiting until you feel safe. It's choosing when you're terrified. I reached for her hand. She froze. Then let me take it. I was going to, I said softly. I just didn't want to rush. You weren't rushing, she said. You were avoiding. She wasn't wrong. I love you, I said. And I love Maya. And I want this. Her breath hitched. Then why are you scared? Because if I lose you, I said, I don't know how I'll survive it. She stared at me. That's the point, she whispered. Love is always a risk. She was right. She was always right. I don't want you to feel like you're settling, I said. Or like you're being pressured. I'm not, she said. I'm terrified. So am I. Good, she said. Then we're doing it right. My mother cleared her throat. Perhaps, she said dryly. This is the moment where you propose. Naomi laughed through tears. You don't have to, she whispered to me. Yes, I said. I do. Not because of pressure. Because of clarity. I reached into my pocket. I hadn't planned this. Hadn't prepared. Hadn't bought a ring. But I didn't need one. I stood. Naomi froze. What are you doing? I'm asking you something, I said. She stared. In the middle of a restaurant. With my mother watching. With waiters nearby. With her heart racing. With mine pounding. Naomi Carter, I said quietly. Will you marry me? She blinked. Once. Twice. Then whispered. Yes. The restaurant clapped. My mother smiled. Naomi cried. And for the first time, my future felt real. Not imagined. Not hypothetical. Real. Marriage didn't slow Naomi down. If anything, it sharpened her. Not because she needed motivation. Because she finally had space. Emotional space. Mental space. Safety. Security. Support. And suddenly, her ambition had room to breathe. Naomi had always been entrepreneurial. Even in college. She ran a small online shop selling handmade wellness products. Candles. Oils. Journals. Self-care kits. Not because it was trendy. Because it was personal. She built the brand during some of the hardest years of her life. During single motherhood. During exhaustion. During financial stress. During emotional burnout. She built it because she needed something that belonged to her. Something that reminded her she wasn't just surviving. She was building. At first, it was small. Instagram page. Website. A few hundred orders a month. But she treated it like a real business. Customer service. Product quality. Branding. Experience. Community. And something about her authenticity worked. People didn't just buy her products. They trusted her. And trust scales faster than advertising ever could. After graduation, she decided to expand. Not recklessly. Not impulsively. Strategically. She started with a pop-up shop. Small. Low risk. In Baltimore. It sold out in 3 days. Then another. Then another. Then a lease. Then a storefront. Then a second. Then a third. Each one carefully chosen. Community-centered. Accessible. Warm. Not corporate. Not sterile. Just human. She hired local women. Single mothers. Students. Career changers. People who needed opportunity. Not just employment. She paid fair wages. Offered flexible hours. Created supportive environments. Not because it was trendy. Because she'd lived the alternative. And word spread. Fast. Within 2 years. She had 7 locations. Within 3. 14. Within 5. 32. Across major cities. Across suburban centers. Across college towns. Across wellness hubs. Her brand became synonymous with trust. With care. With authenticity. With emotional intelligence. She didn't sell products. She sold safety. Belonging. Rest. And suddenly, people weren't calling her Daniel's fiancée. They were calling her CEO, founder, entrepreneur, visionary, and she never once let it change her. Not her values, not her humility, not her priorities. She still packed Maya's lunches, still volunteered at school events, still remembered her employees' names, still answered customer emails personally sometimes, still showed up, still listened, still cared. And that made her unstoppable. The day her brand went national, she didn't celebrate. She panicked. "I don't know how to handle this," she whispered, pacing our kitchen. "You already are," I said. "No, this is different," she said. "This is bigger." "Yes." "What if I mess it up?" "You won't. You don't know that." "I do," I said. "Because you don't run businesses. You build communities." She froze. "What?" "That's why people trust you," I said. "Not because of your products. Because of you." She stared at me. "You always know what to say." "No," I said. "I just know who you are." Her eyes softened. She sat beside me. "I'm scared," she admitted. "Good," I said. "That means it matters." "You're not worried?" "I'm excited," I said. "And proud." She leaned her head on my shoulder. "I never thought I'd have this life." "Which part?" "Any of it." "Me too," I said. She smiled. And in that moment, I realized something. Love doesn't just heal people. It amplifies them. It gives them room to become. And Naomi, she was becoming everything she'd always been. She just finally had the space to breathe. One night, after a national business feature went live, she walked into the living room holding her phone. "Someone just called me a self-made empire builder," she said. I smiled. "You are." "No," she said. "I'm just me." "Exactly." She sat beside me. "You know what's funny?" "What?" "I used to be terrified you'd see me as baggage." "I never did." "I know," she said. "But I felt like I was starting 10 steps behind." "You weren't." "Yes, I was." "No," I said. "You were starting with life experience." She smiled. "That's a generous spin." "It's accurate." She leaned into me. And now," I prompted. "And now I don't feel behind at all." That sentence mattered more than any award. Because it meant she saw herself differently. Not as someone catching up, but as someone leading. And suddenly, our relationship shifted too. Not emotionally, not romantically, but structurally. She wasn't my partner. She was my equal. And that was everything. My mother demanded a wedding. Not casually, not subtly, directly. "You will have a proper ceremony," she said. "What does that mean?" Naomi asked carefully. "It means intentional," my mother replied. "Public, celebratory, honoring both cultures." Naomi blinked. "You want a cultural fusion wedding?" "Yes." I stared. "You realize how complicated that is?" "Yes." "On purpose?" "Yes." Naomi laughed nervously. "I don't know anything about Korean weddings." "You will learn," my mother said calmly. "And I don't know anything about traditional Nigerian-American weddings," Naomi added. "You will teach me," my mother said. That sentence stunned her. "Teach you?" "Yes." Naomi looked at me. "Is this real?" "Yes," I said. "She's evolving." My mother rolled her eyes. "I am not evolving," she said. "I am adapting." "Same thing," Naomi whispered to me. The planning process was chaotic, but beautiful. 2 cultures, 2 traditions, 2 families, 1 union. We held the ceremony at a vineyard in Northern California. Neutral ground, natural beauty, open sky, sunset ceremony, soft wind, warm light. Naomi wore a white gown with subtle gold embroidery inspired by Korean hanbok patterns. I wore a tailored black suit with traditional accents. Maya wore a flower crown and a dress that matched Naomi's. She walked Naomi down the aisle, holding her hand, proud, beaming. And when Naomi reached me, I forgot everything else. The crowd, the music, the setting, all of it disappeared. There was just her, strong, beautiful, real. And suddenly, everything I'd been afraid of before, loss, failure, vulnerability, pain, it all felt small compared to what I was gaining. Connection, family, purpose, belonging. My mother cried. Not discreetly, not quietly, openly. She hugged Naomi after the vows, held her tightly, whispered something only Naomi could hear. Later, Naomi told me what she said. "You make my son brave." That sentence nearly destroyed her. In the best way. Years later, Naomi's company operates in over 40 cities across the United States. Her brand is nationally recognized. Her team spans thousands. Her influence reaches millions. But she still comes home and helps Maya with homework. Still laughs loudly. Still forgets where she left her keys. Still hugs me randomly. Still kisses my cheek in the kitchen. Still falls asleep on the couch with documentaries playing. Still feels real. And Maya is thriving. Healthy. Brilliant. Confident. Secure. She knows she is loved. Not conditionally. Not temporarily. Completely. And me? I no longer fear vulnerability. I no longer fear attachment. I no longer fear loss. Because love didn't ruin me. It rebuilt me. And it all started with 7 simple words. I have a baby girl. If this story moved you, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share. And comment below. Have you ever almost walked away from something beautiful because it scared you? I'd love to hear your story. Because sometimes, the thing that terrifies you most is the thing that saves you.